Yeah, whole team on a loose. Kick it up like Kung Fu. Untamed, yeah, cool. Running plays like who knew. Hella fast when I slide through. You would've thought we was in a zoo. Engine roar like a lion do. Go, get ready, set, go.
So as we've left the pits, they've closed the pit exit, and we're like, what the hell's going on?
Despite the mechanical incident we had during the race, the car is in fantastic condition. So welcome to round 3 of Britcar. We're at the iconic racetrack of Spa. This track holds quite a special place for us as a team. We first came here about 5 years ago and had some really good success, and we've been here 4 times since then.
Spa is my most favourite circuit in the world.
I just couldn't stop it quick enough, so I just caught their back end and spun them around. But I think there's more damage to our car than theirs, so, you know.
So, Spa weather is well known for being quite moist. Yeah, I'll never get bored of coming to this circuit. I'll never get bored of coming here with this team and just giving it our best, and, you know, just having a bloody great time.
I'm off, boys. I fucked the car. I'm off when I fucked it. Boys. No!
We're aspiring to create history. I think this is the first British Army team that's competed at this level in a competitive vehicle with an actual chance of winning something. Now, when you look across the paddock, you see professional teams, big articulated lorries, and then you look at us. We don't have as much funding. We have great sponsors. We are here and we are racing and we're competitive. An articulated lorry doesn't make you go quick around the track, but the determination and attitude of our team does. To be a part of this team, to be a part of that driving force to get it to the front edge of, you know, the competitiveness of hopefully winning, podiuming, and ultimately winning the championship. It's an absolute privilege. Obviously there's time sacrifice. All racing is done on the weekends. It's adding a few more events to the calendar. And with our roles within the military, you know, we're already busy. So there are cons. But what are the pros? The pros are, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you come and help out with a Britcar team? You don't have to be the best at everything. You don't have to have the knowledge of absolutely everything to do with that Ginetta G55 behind us. As long as you've got the right attitude and you're willing to learn, and it's about the professional development as well as the personal development. And then as time progresses, as we get quicker out track, as the pit crew start becoming more proficient, well then you're developing. And I think that aspiration to always personally develop as an individual is very important. And I think everybody on this team identifies that within themselves, and I think that's what makes the team great.
So we left Spa with a really bloody nose. You know, we started the first race really well. The first race went to plan as best it could. We knew we were going to be on the back foot pace-wise because of the super long straights at Spa, but we made the best of a bad situation. We finished fifth, which is phenomenal. That is great. We went into the Sunday very optimistic, the same as we did Saturday. We thought we would have a very similar race. Everything was very much the same as it was on the Saturday. Unfortunately, we had the incident, and that caused our weekend and our race and time in Belgium to be gone.
Yeah, so leading up today, it's been a real tough month, to be fair. Will's been putting in a lot of the hard work fixing the car, and it's always, we're all families and busy and stuff, so it's hard to give the time up. I gave him a bit of time, but nowhere near as much time as I wanted to get. So there's always that bit of guilt there, knowing that you've damaged the car and you haven't put much time in. But a lot of work behind the scenes, trying to find parts, source the pits, collect them. So putting that done, we've done a lot of fiberglass work back in my workshop between me and my dad, just trying to get some of the panels fixed up to save some cash, which is really good. And like I said, they're on the car and they fit, so that's good. And that was the main thing, because that door was in about 5 pieces. To make it into one solid bit, we were really happy with. So yeah, that's all gone well, and it's just a lot of time just thinking, is this going to be okay? Can I get back in the car? And after today and the days we've had recently, I'm happy with that now.
Yeah, it was pretty rubbish not being there, to be honest. Work comes first in the military, and I was doing the Major General's review of Trooping the Colour. That's our biggest gig of the year in London, so it was pretty important for me to be there in London. It meant that I missed Spa, which, yeah, it was really upsetting. I was sat in Rebecca, my partner's room, in Woolwich, watching the race on Sunday, hoping to watch the timing and hope the guys would do well in qualifying. And we saw the tracker that he'd stopped on the circuit, and of course that hits quite hard when you don't know what's happened. And then the messages started coming through on the group chat. I think the first one came through, just said, "Has anyone seen him?" So we knew JC was out in the car, and as you do in situations like that, you do think the worst. But we found out quite quickly that he was okay, and that's a huge relief. It was really hard at the time. I wanted to be there to comfort the guys. You just want to be there and give Will, give JC a hug, and just be there to support them, because this is such a team effort. And it's horrible, and I was just thinking the whole time I could be in that position as well. These things do happen. People make mistakes, the cars can go wrong, but the main thing is we've moved on. JC was absolutely fine. We've managed to get the car working, and as I think we can see behind us, yeah, the car's great. It's been perfect all weekend, absolutely bob on. Will has done a fantastic job rebuilding it. I've managed to get over for a couple of days, so has JC, and I think a couple of other guys have been able to help out here and there. But a huge credit to Will. This takes so much time, so much money to do, and I wouldn't be here racing either if it wasn't for all of their efforts. So a huge well done.
A phenomenal amount of hard work has gone into the team to get us to where we are now at Snetterton. That's everyone, whether they've come down to help Will where the car's stored, to clean it, to remove broken parts, to help source broken parts. It's been a phenomenal effort just to find the parts for the car. We've had to make some real headway with reaching out to teams, people, anyone that can help us with the parts. We can always go to the manufacturer, but that comes at a super high cost. And we are a frugal team in the budget side of life. We don't have £100,000 to throw at repairs, and I think Will might have touched on it in the Spa video that it was going to cost around £10,000, and it genuinely has. We are in and around just over the £10,000 mark. We have reached out to various sponsors and things like that, and we have a few leads coming in to help us with offset those finances. But ultimately, the drivers have picked up a lot of that themselves, and that's just motorsport for us at this level. We hope to do better than we appear to be, and I mean that in the most simple sense, that we are just trying to do the most professional motorsport that we can within our means, and the lads are stretched probably beyond their what they would be expected to do massively, especially financially. They put so much money into this themselves that isn't offset by the military, like lots of people might think. But it's the passion, right? It's the sport that we love, and it's the sport that we want to achieve in. To come away from Spa and feel that pain was truly painful. Coming here to Snetterton, the car's been running phenomenal. The lads have really chirped up. They've seen the cars back to how it was, and they're just absolutely itching to see that quality point scoring I've said about, because that is what we're here for. We're here to score points and show that we can do it despite any of the dramas we get along the way. Yeah, it's been really difficult the last 5 weeks, I won't lie, but we're here and we're going to absolutely have a great time tomorrow. And you know, whether we finish last or first, as long as we don't hit a wall, we're going to come away with tears in our eyes, no doubt, because the hard work's been worth it. And yeah, it's been a fun 5 weeks for sure.
We've done a good job getting the car back together. You know, guys watching this video hopefully have seen the previous episode 3.5, which, you know, is a good in-depth view of like what really goes on behind the scenes. And what's gone on behind the scenes, if you haven't seen that video, is me in my shed for 5 weeks straight since Spa, getting this thing back together. What was really nice was during testing yesterday, you know, the car barely missed a beat, and actually it felt really smooth. And what I mean by that is, you know, race cars, especially at high speed, get quite vibraty. Everything's very solid. You get lots of rubber pickup in the wheels. It just throws off the balance of the wheels. But it was like silky smooth. It was just like through the high speed stuff, it just like sailed through 140 mile an hour. So, you know, I think the car is better than ever, or at least as good as it was when we first got it, which is really nice. But we have thrown a lot of new parts at the car and a lot of money at the car to get it to where it is. So we're in a good spot. I think, yeah, we've still got a lot to learn at this circuit, but the car is good to go.
So welcome to round 4 of the Britcar Endurance Championship. We're here at Snetterton, which is one of the most iconic circuits in the UK. It's one of the big hitters, one that most race championships come to over the course of a season. It's a track that's got some high-speed elements, and it's got some really technical infield elements as well. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the Ginetta performs, because statistically, or not statistically, but supposedly, the car isn't well set up for this kind of circuit, but I know from the testing we've completed over the last couple of days, we've put some really good times in, and compared to other cars of similar performance and capability, we're definitely up there in the mix with them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the race takes shape tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'd say I've got quite a lot of experience driving around Snetterton. Actually done quite a few races here over the years. Always, like I say, my front-wheel drive stuff that we've done before. So that was always frustrating in my slow-powered front-wheel drive car because of the 2 long straights. But there's a nice technical section in the infield, so you can really make up the time here. And that's where I think the Ginetta is really strong. From testing on Thursday, you can feel that's where our strengths are in that infield section. And like for a really game time, looking forward to Saturday. I thought the Ginetta was great around Snetterton. Actually, you can, like I say, that there's some real technical bits, so you need to stop the car and get it rotated. It does that, and there's some real fast corners where it's just the grip and the downforce and just holds you through it. So a few people have said that maybe the Ginetta isn't strong around Snetterton, but I feel like we might have a real good shot, and it's a real good contender. And that just off those 2 test sessions I had on Thursday, so really looking forward to what we can do in the race.
Snetterton's a great circuit. I really enjoy Snetterton. I think it's just like a real good baseline of everything. But I think generally it's considered quite a technical circuit because although we've got 2 really long straights, everything in between that is really technical. And I think it's considered quite a elusively difficult circuit. And what's been really interesting from testing yesterday between me and JC is the way we drive this car around this circuit is totally different. And if we could combine our knowledge together, we would, put together a really good lap. So we've got the data and we're trying to work through that to understand what we need to do to learn from each other and be better. Throughout testing yesterday, we saw that like me and JC drive the car totally different. Not drive the car totally differently, attack the circuit totally differently. JC's far more. JC's much better through the technical sections of the circuit, and I'm better through the high speed sections of the circuit. And actually, there's not many high speed sections. There's more technical stuff, but if you're better through the high speed sections, you gain so much more time because then you carry that speed down the back straight and down the front straight. So yeah, we've got some work to do tonight, going through the data, looking at the laptop and just learning from each other about how we can put together a perfect lap. So yeah, JC especially, so you've got like 2 corners here that are just pure tight hairpins, and I'm losing quite a bit of time there. And JC is effectively V'ing off those hairpins, whereas I'm trying to take a wide line and a late apex. And just seems to be that it's a completely different technique, and one is paying off and one isn't as much. Super interesting, like watching the data on the laptop, like we're like this all the time, and it was only because of the back straight I just got a slightly better line through and got the power and early onto the back straight that I knocked down the time only by a tenth, just by a tenth, and that was the only difference by the time we got back to here. So yeah, for me it was just a couple of corners. So really I've got more to learn than JC, because JC's got most of the circuit nailed. He just needs to have a bit more confidence through the high speed stuff, and that's probably as a result from Spa, probably obviously. So yeah, he's got an easier job than me at the moment.
Here we are at a boiling hot, scorching Snetterton on a Thursday. We're here testing, essentially. This is the first time the car's been out since you last saw it at Spa, and it wasn't looking its best when it left Spa. Through a lot of hard work across the team, it's now looking a lot more presentable. We got here really early this morning and we managed to semi-blag ourselves into a garage, but unfortunately the people who actually booked that garage have now turned up, so we've been turfed out and thrown into the tarmac, which is just, with the heat absolutely killing us right now, so we're living our best lives. What we're doing here, so we're doing a Thursday test instead of a Friday test, and what that means really is that usually a Friday test are sessions, so we do 4 25-ish minute sessions over a day, but today we have the luxury of an open pit day, which means we can go on and off track as much as we want, less than 1 hour lunch break in the middle. So what that gives us is loads and loads of flexibility to really test the car, make sure it's still working as it was prior to the incident at Spa, and just get ourselves zeroed in on what we want to achieve this weekend at Snetterton. So Josh, who's going to be driving, he hasn't raced at Snetterton ever, which is going to be really exciting. He's done a couple of test sessions this morning already, and his times are looking phenomenal, if I'm honest, especially for someone that's not been around here at speed. It's really encouraging. JC's done a 2-minute dead, and Will is going out this afternoon, so we'll see where his times are. But I think the focus this weekend isn't so much on times, it's more on banking a really solid couple of points in the championship. Our last 2 events haven't gone to plan as we wanted them to, and we're just looking to get a bit of a regain, and so we'll probably look to back off 5% of our 100% sort of pace, just to bring the car home nice and safe and bank some quality points. The amount of work that's gone on over the last 4 weeks in Spa has just been phenomenal, and what we need is a really good pick-me-up off this weekend with that incident, and just come home with some good quality bank points. Yeah, so during testing, one of the cars that's tested, a Honda Civic, has come off track on the very last corner, hit a barrier, so the marshals are just fixing that at the minute. What that's caused is a red flag, so all the cars are coming off circuit, and we're not anticipating too much of a delay on this. It should be swept up quite quick, and we'll be back out testing until lunch, so about another half an hour left on track.
super hot day here at Snetterton, as I'm sure you can see. So yeah, we've had a really good day so far. The car, you know, after all of the work and rebuild, it's normally like a bit worrying, you know, going back out on the track for the first time, because there's lots that can go wrong. But you know, Josh went out this morning. I gave the car a quick shakedown first thing this morning. Then Josh went out. He put in some really good lap times straight away, which is really great for his confidence. But unfortunately he had to leave us because he's got ceremonial duties back in London, so he's now sweating it out on the parade square down in London right now. And then yeah, after lunch I went out, did a bit of a session, but had to, we kept getting overheating errors on the dash. The car was overheating, the engine was overheating, so I had to basically I wanted to see if I could manage those temperatures around the track by short shifting, which I could, and still maintain pace, because it's still going to be a hot day on Saturday. So I just wanted to make sure that if we needed to, we could nurse the car around and still be quick, which we could, so that was really good. But then we brought the car in and did a bit of fault finding. The temperatures were going up and down on the temperature gauge, so it seemed like it was getting water and then not getting water, which we found out to be a faulty radiator cap. So we've replaced that just now. Hopefully it can now keep the water in the engine instead of belching it out of the engine. As he's just gone past, JC's out on track now. JC's actually been putting in some really good lap times. He's redeemed himself a little bit from Spa, so no, I'm joking, but no, he's putting in some really good lap times. We're still hunting that sub 2 minutes, but we'll see how we go over the weekend. Yeah, it tells you what it wants, so it's saying it's a right front, left, but do the pressure. So we're doing, it's now saying rear, right rear. So record that, take it off, and it says right rear inner, so you need to get right under here. Yeah. Right on the inside edge, stab it in, wait for the temp to stabilise, click it, centre, click it, outer, click it, and then it will say next one, so now it's saying left rear, so you're working from that one and doing around like that, which is a shame, because we ideally want the front axle, but just have a practice.
On power, so I'm like, no, just wait a bit longer until we're in a bit, then we can go. So I'm like, then because what I'm doing is I'm kind of like balancing the throttle, then doing it. I didn't realise you were there.
How was it, mate? How was it out there?
Yeah, really good. I after the crash, obviously at Spa, it's trying to build a bit more confidence in myself again. So I'm still struggling to lean on the car, but it seems to extract some good time still, which is nice. So hopefully this afternoon just carry on building up some time and some confidence in myself. Try not to fall off again.
What's the track like?
Yeah, really hot. It's a bit of a funny situation coming down the back straight, and you can almost see the whole track mirage, and then where it's just so hot and it's just all a bit of it plays on the eyes a little bit, to be fair. But I never really had that. But you can really see how hot the track temps are, and you can feel the car's quite loose under the really hot tyres. But enjoying it.
What are we doing this morning, Will?
So we're going to check the balance, because it's not been checked since the rebuild. We've just checked the balance and it's slightly out by a couple of %, so it's an easy fix, might as well do it. Then I'm going to check the alignment, make sure everything's still in the line from how I aligned it at the garage the other night. And then we need to put some stickers on the car. Fun stuff, arts and crafts.
Roger. What is balance to the people that don't know?
So the balance of the car is basically how much weight is pressed down on each corner of the car, and we need to spread that balance as evenly as possible. It makes the car very predictable, wears the tyres evenly, and just makes the car faster and more consistent around each different kind of corner. There's a very long bit about how we do that, but I probably won't go into that right now. But basically we adjust the height of the suspension on each corner, and that presses each wheel down into the ground harder. And using these scales that we've got around the car, we can physically see that data, see how much weight is being pressed down to each corner, and we just adjust each corner to try and get a balance diagonally across each, from wheel to wheel diagonally, and also on each axle, so the front and the rear, to try and get left and right balance as close as possible. You'll never get it perfect all the way round, but you try and go for a happy medium of all of it. So.
Post-Spa, obviously spent 5 weeks rebuilding the car, and then you've got to get into, right, the car's back together, it looks straight. We've got body work on it again. We actually then need to get into like the pre-race prep, which I did very rushed prior to testing. Luckily, it obviously all turned out okay. But today we've spent all day actually. I thought it'd be like a half day kind of thing, but it was nice to have today because we obviously tested Thursday, today's Friday, and racing tomorrow Saturday. We had all day to just like potter around the car and just get everything nipped. So we got it balanced. It was out of balance, not by much, but enough to probably notice a difference. The alignment was slightly out because I was trying to do the alignment on a set of old wheels which have got minor bends and buckles, but ultimately like the run out on that wheel could be up to 3mm, which just makes it very inconsistent to try and align it, and also could make it inaccurate. So we've now got a decent set of hub stands that we can use to get real accurate measurements to do the alignment. And then it was just like, after all of the new bodywork and repairs, we had to get all the sponsor stickers back on the car, all the championship stickers back on the car. Had to reset the pit limiter from 60 kph that we're allowed to run in Spa, whereas it's 50 kph here, so that's just done bleep bloop through the ECU. Yeah, just odds and sods really, but it was just a nice day. It was a nice chilled day today. Got all of the stands set up and the garage set up. Yeah, it was decent.
So within motorsport, a massive broad spectrum as in the motorsport community is. I volunteer also as a clerk of the course. I'm going through my training currently. I'm a deputy clerk of the course with aspirations to do my assessment to national this season. What is a clerk of the course? A clerk of the course is up in race control. You are managing the race to ensure safety of the competitors, first and foremost. And secondly, you're ensuring that there's fairness within the sporting of the sport itself within each event. So therefore, you're looking at disciplinary, holding hearings with drivers, judicials, and penalise them if they are found guilty of any form of misdemeanours within the race itself. Also to that, you as the clerk of the course are responsible for releasing the safety car. You're also responsible for calling a red flag if there is a requirement to do so, and all other safety aspects and how the recovery down to the timings of the event of each race to ensure that it runs to the timelines as per the organisers. As a race official with Motorsport UK, the training pipeline that I've been through is good. There's multiple stages to it, but because it is accountable and it is a responsible role as a clerk of the course within motorsport, you need to understand and build experience as well as know the knowledge for it. So that's what I do when I'm not with the Army Sports Car Racing team. For the past 9 to 10 months I've been doing a degree, my Masters of Business Administration, and I specialise that on motorsport as well, looking at volunteers and how volunteer workforce within motorsport affect not only the event itself, but also the future sustainability of the sport. My chain of command within the military itself were very supportive of me doing my degree. It's not an easy thing to do, and it takes a lot of self-sacrifice for time. My family, supported me all the way through it. But the military, with allowing me to study and allowing me the space to study, has been great. And also the support from the team as well, because I specialised on motorsport. The support from the team in helping me network, helping me find people to interview, was really supportive.
Looking forward to this race. I'm just thinking to show people that I'm not completely rubbish. Obviously, there's a lot of self-doubt after Spa, and I was just like, I've had maybe a month now to reflect and stuff, and I'm just like, I need to get back in the car and prove that I know I can handle the car, I know what I'm doing with it, and I kind of built on that in testing. The first 3 or 4 laps I was getting the confidence back, and then it just kind of switched and I was back on it. So hopefully I just need a good result and show everyone that I'm more than myself more than anything, that yeah, you can do it, stop doubting yourself, you know you can do it, get on with it.
Usually on a Britcar weekend we would get a 60-minute session at the beginning of the day, first thing in the morning, and we can shake the car out, get the drivers up to speed, get them sharp, and then we can go into quali later on in the morning. But tomorrow for racing, we're going to actually go, the first time we're going on track is into that 10-minute practice / 10-minute quali, which is a back-to-back session essentially. So we're a little bit on the back foot, but everyone's in the same boat. We can't complain about that at all. It's just the way this weekend is going. We're privileged to be on a weekend with some incredible championships. We've got the Civic Cup, which is an iconic club racing series. We've also got the trucks. You know, the truck racing is something I've been looking forward to being part of in the paddock, because they bring such an amazing presence. And basically all that has happened has culminated the race weekend is a bit more chaotic and condensed because of these big hitting series all wanting their piece of the pie on track. So we are just in the mix, and we have just got to get on with business tomorrow and put ourselves in the best foot forward we can. We did testing yesterday and that went really well. That was the true first time the car's been on track since the incident at Spa, and the car performed faultlessly. We were on track for about 5 hours yesterday, and there was nothing wrong with the car whatsoever, and it had the pace most importantly. So we've got the confidence back in the car. We're really positive about how the race will go tomorrow, and we're just looking forward to getting on with it and getting back down to business.
Quali is, so we haven't got the 60 minutes free practice that we have on a normal weekend, just because it's a much busier weekend this weekend. So we're straight into quali tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Because Josh has not raced here, he has to do 3 laps. So that puts us a bit on the back foot, because he's now going to have to do we've got that 20 minutes quali, which is split into 2 10-minute sessions, if you like. It's like effectively 10 minutes warm up, 10 minutes quali, but they're rolled up in the same session. Because Josh hasn't raced here, he has to do those 3 laps. He's going to have to do the first sort of 10 minutes. You know, it's 2 minutes a lap, so it's going to take 6-7 minutes to achieve that. And then I'm going to jump in the car and try and qualify. What this means is, yeah, we get Josh cleared out of his 3 laps. He's done great. Car's not really warmed up properly. Tyre pressures aren't quite there. And then I've got to get in the car cold. Ultimately, we're looking good. You know, most of the Britcar grid were out testing today, and their lap times were, we were in the mix for the lap times. We weren't, we weren't right at the top, but we were definitely like top 5, I think. So then looking towards the race, if we can push out consistent good laps, and endurance racing is all about consistency. If we can do that, we stand a chance again, but I'm not going to say that this time. I don't want a podium. I don't want it. I just want to finish clean. I want to go home and have some time off from the garage, because I need some time off. But yeah, I think we're looking good for all of it, and there's always opportunity for us. We just got to try and take it, but we also need to not worry about it, which is so difficult.
The car to work on, it's a good little car. I like the car. We're all starting to now build a relationship with this car. The car's part of the team, right? We need to understand the car, just like we would our soldiers. We need to understand them and how to get it to work for us best. It takes time. There are still things that we're all learning, especially me. Practice makes perfect. We just need to keep coming, we just need to keep performing, and we just need to keep developing. And as we develop, we gather data. And as we gather data, we gather knowledge. And the knowledge of our experience on the car will grow, as well as our knowledge around each circuit will grow. So the car's not difficult to work on. It's the experience and knowledge which is difficult to gain.
Strategy. We spoke about it in the last video, right? It hasn't changed. It's just I just don't want to repeat myself, but we've just got to get a clean race under our belt. We've not had it yet. We've not had a clean weekend yet. We've had a couple of clean races, but I just want a clean race, mate. I just don't care. I always care about lap times and where we finish, but I think we need to really work hard to not worry about it. I think the only thing to say about the strategy this weekend is it is zero risk. We're not going to take any risks. And I really need to drum that into the drivers, including myself. Like, don't get the bit between the teeth. Don't go chasing that bone in front of you. Like, we need to look at the bigger picture and think about not us as individuals trying to do the best for ourselves. We need to think about the team and how we can progress the team in terms of points and to the ultimate aim at the end of everything, which is a championship. And it's just like racing drivers are racing drivers, man. It's always the same. We're competitive, we're idiots, and we just want that 10th kind of stuff. But we've got to dial it back. And actually, like talking about the circuit, it's really easy to overdrive a car around this circuit and you lose time. If you just take a step back and sort of ease the car into some of the technical stuff, you gain time, which is also where JC's doing better than me. So it's exactly that. We've just got to reel it back. And I know I've said it a lot. I probably say it every video, and I'm sick of saying it. We just need a clean race and a clean finish, and we can all have a good time from that. So
yeah, I think we'll play the cards a little different here at Snetterton. We've said it before. Right, we have a clean race, get over the line. We haven't done that, but hopefully that's the plan. We're gonna. Looking back at testing, we got some good lap times. I really wasn't pushing the car, so I know that we can put that into the race pace, and we don't have to race 10:10s, so we can do some real good lap times. We're on the back of the trucks this weekend, so we do lose the hour free practice on the Saturday morning, which is normally really, really good to get you settled in. So Josh and Will are going to go out in qualifying, and then I'm going to be straight into race pace, so I just need to be on it straight away. So looking forward to that. Just no build up, get in the car, you're in the middle of the race, get on with it. So hopefully that I won't have time to think about it, just get on with it straight away. So that should be quite exciting. But yeah, we're always going to look for a clean race, and let's hope we can do that this time. Need to do it, otherwise we're in big trouble. But the thing is, I had my glass coming, so it's not.
So a couple of cars starting from pit lane, as we have seen. I think one of them is the number 17 Army Motorsports car. But meantime, the cars are coming round ready for the rolling start. This is a 90-minute race, 2 mandatory pit stops per car once the pit window opens. At the moment, they're coming up towards the green flag, and away they go. The lights go out and we're underway with our Britcar endurance race here on the Snetterton 300 circuit. What a fine sight this mixed grid of sports cars make. There's the cars in the pit lane.
Going out, but it's going to be Mark in the water who takes Simon Clark up towards the top of the circuit.
already up into 9th place, so Anderson racing with Martin Anderson.
Just gone past my commentary box window to complete his second lap. He's at a 1:57.639. That Porsche is flying, and the number 17 of Will Ashmore, the Army Sports Car Racing Ginetta. I think that car started from the pit lane and is making its way up the order. There were about 4 cars in pit lane at the start of the race. Here's a scrap further back. Julian McBride now ahead of the number 17 of Will Ashmore with the Army Ginetta.
SGM are expecting one of their cars to come in, so the first of the pit stoppers already destined for the pit lane, and yes, the race leader is in. Okay, so race leader in, which is probably not what we would have thought to happen. Then Charles going to get out of the car and give Peter a short run for a very long run at the end.
Unusual place for a car to go off. Let's see what happened. Did he trip over another car? Oh, he just went in way too hot and cannoned off the side of Chris Murphy. That's a very unusual place to go off. There's Axel van Nederveen's car. The rear suspension broken. He's out of the race, sadly. Well, it's all happening during this first round of pit stops. The Army car has come in now to make it stop. Nelson just loses the back end and round goes the Ginetta. But wait, the safety car is coming out. Right, this is going to throw a variable into the mix. Now, nearly everybody's made their first stop, but I better know what's going to happen now. Nearly everybody's going to try and come in and make their second stop now. So the safety car's got... Who's that being towed in? From the roof line, that looks like a Porsche to me. We'll try and confirm who that is in a second. Who is that? I think it's the Army sports car Ginetta, looking at the colour scheme that I can see there. Yes, number 17, it's the Army car, unfortunately, so that's the other reason the safety car came out. 2 stranded Ginettas. There it is, revealed from behind the barriers. Oh, that's a shame for the Army team. Will Ashmore, Jonathan Candler and Josh Gilding. I think it was Jonathan who was in the car when something went wrong for them up at Wilson Hairpin, so that car's out of the race. So that's our 4th retirement, unfortunately. We're down to 20 cars running.
Right, so we got about halfway through the race. We did the first pit stop and then JC jumped in the car. He literally did 2 corners and then unfortunately a drive shaft snapped, so that means he's lost all drive in the car and came to a standstill. He was static for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. We actually lost comms to him, so it's really difficult to understand what was going on. The car's been brought back to the pits. We've had a quick look at it and it is actually repairable, and there is just enough time, 25 minutes left, for us to get back out on track. There has been a few DNFs in our class already, so what I'm trying to get at is that even if we finish 9th, which is potentially on the cards, as long as we do 1 more lap and finish the race, we'll get some points. It's really frustrating. There was some dramas at the beginning of the race to do with the green flag lap, which put us essentially right at the back of the grid through no fault of our own, and we couldn't position ourselves in 5th at the start like we qualified for. But Will did a phenomenal effort, 40 minutes, just smashing through the field and got us back up to, I think it was 8th. And then the pit stop started, and then we made our pit stop, and then unfortunately this instance happened. But the lads are working really hard at the minute now to sort the drive shaft out, and all we need to do is bank 1 more lap for the end of the race, and we should sort a couple of points, which is better than none.
Wheel on and clamp.
We've got 5 minutes.
The Army team, I can tell you, did manage to rejoin, but a long way behind after their drive shaft failure. Number 17.
Takes the checkered flag. So elements of the team turned up on Thursday of this week. The weather was absolutely beautiful, far too hot for me personally, but in terms of like the general vibe of the weekend or going into the weekend, it was feeling quite upbeat. You know, we've wiped our nose from the issues we had at Spa. The car's looking great again, not perfect, but it's in a mechanical and mostly visual good condition, ready to race, which is where we wanted to be. When we left Spa, we weren't sure if we were going to make it. There was various blockers in the way, whether it was procuring parts or the financial elements to enable the purchase and procurement of those parts. But you know, we absolutely grafted and we're here, and we couldn't be more happy about that. Testing on Thursday, it was an open pit day. We smashed out a good 2.5, 3 hours of pure track time, pretty much without issue. It was a really hot day, so various parts of the car were struggling a bit. Tyres were blistering a bit more quicker than we wanted them to, but it was just a good day throughout, and we went really confident into coming into the weekend.
Went into Friday the day afterwards, and that was a really, for me personally, that was like a nice chilled day because I didn't have to worry about anything. You know, there was nothing broken on the car that needed fixing. I could just tinker with the car, which I love to do. What I thought was actually going to be like a couple of hours of work typically turned into a 9 till 5 stint, just sat in that garage pottering around the car. But I really enjoyed it because it was just relaxed, I had the music on, all the lads were just tinkering away. and that was it really. And then, you know, we were set up for qualifying in the race today.
We basically were really upbeat. We were looking forward to it. We were really strict on times. We didn't have a free practice session, which was a bit annoying, but you know, we had the drivers brief at 8 o'clock, and then we were out on track, quali and free practice for 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, so we had a small window. That went really well. Will went and set the qualifying pace. We qualified 5th in class, and I think it was 7th overall, so you know, we knew the car had pace. There are some one-off entrants, I guess, to the series this weekend, which are slightly quicker than us. And that was a little bit annoying because we wanted to be as high as we can, and those little bits just take away that sort of fizzy feeling of being in that top 3, or, you know, potential top 3. Regardless, what this weekend's all about is setting a not a base level of performance, but we just wanted to bank some quality championship points. We didn't want to push the car too hard, not take too many chances. We just wanted to come, finish mid-pack, or, you know, as high as we can, but without taking chances, to get a regain and get that good feeling back in the team.
I kind of didn't expect much from quali, but you know, and I said a little bit earlier, like, we were already on the back foot because we had to put me and Josh out to do our 3 laps because we haven't raced here. Well, Josh had never raced here before, and I haven't raced here for 3 years. So we was kind of on the back foot because Josh had to go out and warm up the car, which meant I was then getting in the car cold to qualify. But as it turned out, quali was like a bit of a dream really, because I finally got sub 2 minutes, and then we went a second faster again and went 1:58.9. And even that wasn't a perfect lap, so, you know, I think if we were really on it, we could go a 58.5, which would have been one of the best times of the day. And it was just like, the weather was a little bit cooler, the car just started to slowly switch on with the tyres, and I was just like super happy, especially like when you see on the Delta you're like 0.9 of a second down, and you see that checkered flag and you've nailed it. You know, it's brilliant.
We went into the race. There was a huge kerfuffle at the beginning of the race, before the race had even started. During the formation lap, we were not late, but there was 4 or 5 cars still in the garages waiting to go out for the formation lap. And for some reason they were held at the end of the pit lane. Other cars had already gridded, and we were like, what's going on? We didn't understand what was going on. And it turned out that there was an incident during the formation lap which prevented us going onto the formation lap ourselves. And ultimately, we got screwed over, if I'm completely honest. We had to start the race from the back, from the pits, essentially at the back of the grid, despite qualifying 5th. And that was a really bitter taste in our mouth. And
I was like, yeah, this is finally going to be the weekend where we just have a good race. Yeah, and then, you know, because the car felt so good, we were in no rush between quali and the race to get jobs done. You know, it was just like a quick clean up of the car, work out the strategy and fuel, and then get into the race. So they called us up for assembly. I didn't want to burn too much fuel because we were like running it slightly tight on the strategy on how we were going to burn the fuel. So I wanted to go out last to assembly, which we did to our detriment. So everyone went out to assembly, and when you go out to assembly, you go out the pits, do your lap, and then you form up on the grid. So as we've left the pits, they've closed the pit exit, and we're like, what the hell's going on? And it's, you know, as it transpired, a car had broken down on the circuit, therefore they've had to close the pit exit, so we're not hooning around the circuit, which meant we missed our time window to get out onto the track, to get onto the grid. So we had to do a pit lane start. And now, you know, what does that mean for us? It means we're now going to go out in a car that hasn't been warmed up for 2 laps, nor has the driver. You know, we're just going out completely cold. So you've now got to work super hard. And also, when the race starts, you know, they do their rolling start. I'm waiting at the end of the pits. They come thundering by, get that massive lead, and they will not let us out of the pits until that last car's passed at 140 mile an hour, and then we've got to go and catch up. so be it, is what it is. I felt a little bit let down by the event organisers about that, because I don't think it was fair on us. It was a bit of a disadvantage. They say we were late, I say we weren't, so you know, it's whatever.
I instantly got on the radio to Will, who was starting the race, just to give him some reassurance that we'd done as much as we could to fight this issue, and it was completely out of our hands. The Britcar organiser, Claire, she was really good. She went up to the marshal's office to try and straighten this out, but unfortunately, through the powers that be, it couldn't be done, and unfortunately our fate was set to start the race at the back of the grid, which is just really painful.
Extremely frustrating for me, you know, as a driver. I want to get my head down and get into the race. But anyway, kind of pushed that out of my mind, went very quiet on the radio. Ted was constantly feeding me information, and I was, you know, taking it in but not acknowledging. I was just like, I don't need to talk, I'm just going to concentrate on like getting this car on, pushing through the back of the pack as quick as possible, which I think we achieved. You know, and I don't know if Ted, when he was on the comms, was like fluffing me up a little bit, but he was like, you know, your lap times are as fast as the leaders, just keep going. And we did, we punched through the pack. Because of what happened, you know, we decided to run my stint really long, and that was with a bit of my input from the car, because I just felt like I was really comfortable in the car, putting in good really good consistent lap times, and I was like, let's just punch this out until we need to pit, or we just string it out for as long as we can.
Will is a fantastic driver, and I know he absolutely loves the chomp of the bit to pick away at the rear markers. So during the race, our strategy was always to roll the dice for a safety car essentially, and try a one fuel pit stop. So Will did about 40 minutes in the car, picked away everyone pretty much, and got us up to, I think it was 8th overall in a 23 car grid. Phenomenal. Really, really happy.
So we did that, and you know, I managed to get through a lot of the grid to P4 in class. You know, when we pitted, we were P4 in class, and that wasn't leapfrogging due to other cars pitting. That was probably a fair, you know, estimation of where we were on the grid, because we pitted sort of midpoint compared to everyone else.
We then chose to bring him in because the safety car didn't seem to be coming, and we were sort of running out of time to make that decision. So we brought him in. JC jumped in the car, and then literally as he jumped in the car, a safety car came round. So what that basically means is the delta of the gap that was created in the middle of the race was now going to be removed because the safety car was going to bunch all the cars back together. JC's phenomenal around Snetterton. He's raced around here for 10 odd years, and he's got amazing pace. And I know, and I had the confidence that he would just continue jumping through the pack.
Yeah, pitted, refueled the car, handed over the car to JC. JC, you know, went out of the pits, and unfortunately the car, the drive shaft snapped on the car. He went out of the pits, did turn 1, and it snapped as he was trying to come out of turn 2.
Going to testing Thursday, straight out of the box, like Will's done a great job in the car, and it's working, and we're happy with it. Times look great. I've done my first session. Times are bang on where we want to be, which is really positive. I was like, a bit tentative for the first couple of laps, and then straight on the pace, and I was really, really impressed with the pace, and the car felt great, which is amazing. And then kind of Friday, we didn't really do too much. We kind of a few tinkering jobs on the car, a few tweaks, a few stickers to apply, just real simple stuff. So Friday was nice and chill. And then you just kind of feels like a waiting game. You're just lingering around, waiting for your moment. Like when's the car getting on? Get to the race Saturday. The boys go out and do qualifying. Obviously, we've only got 20-minute session, so you know we're never going to get 3 drivers in. So I kind of missed out there, but I'm just waiting for my opportunity to come in the race. Will's done a great stint in the race, looking really good after we've been absolutely stitched by the race admin. But it's one of those things that happens. Rules are rules. Pit lane's closed. You can't aim off for breakages on the circuit. It's just one of those things. So we will catch a break at some point. And yeah, so my time's in the car's ready. Get in the car, do 3 corners, lose all drive. The drive shaft's gone on me. They're known for being fragile, and the genetics that's internationally known. They all have a shelf life, race life. We don't know the hours on these drive shafts. Come out the pit box maybe a bit lively, maybe they were already fatigued. I've done 3 corners. I've had no warning. I've gone into the hairpin, absolutely no drive. So maybe a bit of driver input, maybe a bit of just general fatigue on the drive shafts themselves. But yeah, no warning. Just drive shaft's gone. No drive out the corner. I was done a few resets, thinking I've got no drive. Is it clutch? Is it the drive shaft? Is it something else gone? I couldn't get it to go, so I was just sitting there waiting for the tow truck. The back of the tow truck seems quite familiar for me at the moment. I'd like to see something other than a flatbed truck or a pickup truck with a tow bar would be great. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's racing. It's highs and lows. Just I'm fed up with the lows for a moment.
It was really, really, really painful. Yeah, really sad. But the car was recovered back to the paddock. We had a quick look at it, diagnosed the fact it was a snap drive shaft. A really well-known common weak point on the Ginetta is the drive shafts. There was about half an hour left of the race or so. A drive shaft replacement is a relatively quick thing, so we snapped the pit crew into action to get that replacement done. We could have finished the race in the garage and scored 1 point, but if we finished the race, we could have still finished in 9th because we had such a great element of the race. And we did. The lads fixed the car. We had, I think it was 8 minutes left on track. So Josh jumped in, smashed out 3 laps and brought the flag home.
The car came back into the pits quite quickly, and I personally stayed optimistic. The lads did an absolutely phenomenal job. They were straight on it, cracked on. Meanwhile, I'm getting my helmet on and I'm sitting in the car in the hot, believing we'll get there. And yeah, we did it. The lads got a new drive shaft on the car, everything back together. Slightly concerned that we might not have ABS because it was a different drive shaft that we put on. But when I went back out, I didn't seem to suffer with any problems. The car felt good, so we're content for the future. I think the car has stayed in one piece, and most importantly, we crossed the line and we got those points, and that's always the aim. You know, just to finish the race. That's what we wanted to do today. A shame under the circumstances, but once again, it's racing, and credit to the mechanics because that was a tough job in the time frame. I think it was about 40 minutes from the end of the race when we found out that he was stopped, and we were back out with about 8 minutes to go. So that's including the time it took the car to come back to the pit lane. So they did a mega job there to get the car back out. So yeah, well done to the team, and we go again next time.
You know, these cars the Ginettas are specifically known for weak drive shafts, and it's just one of those things that happens. You know, it was super frustrating because JC didn't get a stint, really barely drove the car, and I was stood in the garage, you know, just got out the car, you know, cooling down after my stint, and I see Ted shaking his head, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe it's nothing. And then 5 minutes later, one of the lads is like, yeah, JC's come on the comms and said that there's no drive in the car. And I'm like, I know what's happened. It snapped a drive shaft. We were umming and ahhing on whether we should change the drive shaft, and luckily Ted just took control of the situation and was like, let's just do it. Whether we get out on track or not, let's just do it. We still need to fix it one way or another. And the lads absolutely smashed it out of the park. They changed that drive shaft in 15 minutes flat, and Josh jumped in the car. We had 7 minutes to go. Phenomenal. You know, it couldn't have gone any better to make the best of another bad situation for Army Sports Car Racing in the Britcar Championship. Can we ever catch a break? Who knows? So that, you know, in a long nutshell, that was the weekend.
I'm just like, give me a break. It's just really frustrating. It's just like we cannot catch a break, and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, what am I doing here? Am I doing something wrong? Is it the cars? Have I annoyed the racing gods somewhere? I feel like I've definitely annoyed the racing gods. I've obviously need to have a chat with him and say, hey, help me out, mate. Do me a solid for Donny as we move forward to Donny. But luckily, the lads did a great turnaround job on the car. We were all kind of a bit disheartened and kind of gave up, and then we was like, actually, come on, boys. So we're not about this. We get on it. Let's get the car back out. Let's finish. Let's score some points. The lads done a rapid turnaround, got the car out, and we finished. We scored some points. The good result will come. I guarantee it's coming. And then we're all celebrating, crying, man hugging, buzzing. But at the moment, it's just frustrating. But I know for a fact this year it's gonna come on. We'll get that good result. Just fingers crossed that'll be in Donny next month.
I've been harping on about having a clean race and wanting to take the car home as we started. We've achieved that mission, yay. yeah, you know, the car this weekend has been the best it's ever felt underneath me. That stint, you know, I think I did 45 minute stint, and you know, I apologise to the other drivers for like taking away track time for them, but we just had to make the best of a bad situation, and I pressed Ted to keep me out because the car felt so good, and I was not pushing the car or overdriving the car whatsoever, but we were still putting down good lap times. So, you know, that car for me is set. So the plan forward now is I'm going to source some uprated drive shafts that can take a bit more abuse. And then we just do the standard race car turnarounds, you know, do the fluids. I've got a bit of body work still to tidy up from Spa. 4 weeks until Donington Park. And it's probably, you know, 2 weekends work that I've got to do, so I can actually have a life for a few weeks.
So we finish the Snetterton weekend with 9 points. We hope for about 15. We hope to finish around 5th. That was my personal target of a 5th. And I would have been super chuffed with that. And if I'm honest, if we carried on racing the way we were, I genuinely believe we were in contention for a podium today. It could have been our first podium. But, you know, we'll get some luck sometime, but it's not come this weekend, and it's a bit disappointing, but it's phenomenal to have seen the team graft in the last half an hour of the race, to see 5 or 6 blokes come together and just work in sync. You know, they were super efficient, they all knew what they were doing, passing tools to each other, everyone knew what their role was, there was no messing around, faffing about. They just swapped the drive shaft out, Josh jumped in, did 3 laps, and we walk away with 9 points. Yeah, a nice way to finish the weekend of racing, I guess. But you know, what could have been is still there, and it's disappointing for sure.